Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today I have a topic that I'm not sure if this will be a video that performed really well. I'm not sure if this will get a bunch of clicks, a bunch of views or whatever, but it is something that I want to talk about because I'm actually really passionate about it. I think it is a huge deal and something that absolutely enough people in the scene are not talking about. Today I was scrolling through Twitter, came across this tweet from Ashley Kang talking about Showmaker, talking about Damwon, talking about burnout, and I think burnout in competitive esports, specifically League of Legends being the worst of the bunch, is a huge topic that needs to be discussed, and honestly I think something needs to be done about it sooner rather than later. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate it so much. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content so you guys don't miss out on anything we've got going on in the near future, and consider checking out my Patreon over at patreon.com/IamGerm if you want to go that little extra mile supporting me, my channel, and my content. With that being said, here we go. So Ashley Kang tweeted this out. This was earlier today for me, in the middle of the night. She said, Corey Lulu just posted, Showmaker goes honest on the subject of burnout, his work schedule, playing 9 hours of scrims and 5 hours of solo queue a day, and the MSI Blues. And the quote here that she actually tweets out from the interview is, I don't want to admit it, but League hasn't been as fun. And the crazy thing here is that we have heard very similar sentiment and feelings and stuff from Mad Lions players talking about how they have some MSI burnout. And there's a couple of different things here. One, just the topic of MSI burnout, which we actually hear all the time. I mean, think about it. Players come in January. Sometimes they have to come in at the end of December. Sometimes it's early January to start getting ready for the next season. They scrim for a couple weeks and they start. Then you go January to like April or even early May is going to be your whole split. And then you keep going into May and June for MSI. And then as soon as MSI ends, you have mid to late June, the next split starts. That goes to July and August, and then Worlds is right around the corner. You literally have like almost 11 months of nonstop work, and you think like, okay, yeah, well, that's everyone. Everyone who works like a full-time job has 11 months of work, if not more. But when you take a look at what is going on here, there's sometimes having one day off. Sometimes they get Mondays off, depending on your league. Sometimes you don't even get Mondays off. Who knows? I've heard people working 7 days a week because, you have match days like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and stuff in the LCS. But your regular days look like 14-hour days. So imagine doing 14-hour days nonstop for 11 months. Having that break between spring and summer is very good, is very healthy. Having to go to MSI and having even a more high stress, more high pressure, more days of extra scrims, extra long hours, all that stuff, that's really rough for you. That's terrible. I get it, but the schedule right now is just really set up terribly to have a big tournament in the middle of the season. It's really set up terribly to then have the big tournament at the end of the season and all that. People have talked about how horrible it is. Again, teams always come back from MSI and struggle, but hearing that it's also mentally and physically affecting them is a very big thing. On the other side, a totally different story is talking about the culture right now of like putting in such long hours and putting in such hard practice and stuff to get better at the game. There's obviously people on both sides. I think it's very interesting. There was a lot of people that did respond to this article, and I agree with these points so much. And I think this is one huge change that around the world, League of Legends absolutely needs to make in order to grow the game, in order to grow the brand, in order to grow competitive League of Legends. Like, I think it's so crazy that guys like Doublelift, guys like Bjergsen are out of the league. They're like 24, 25, 26 years old, and that is honestly terrible for the league. You look at, when I look at other sports like basketball, some people who grew basketball an insane amount, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, having those guys around, like what have LeBron and Michael Jordan played? 17, 18, 19, 20 years competitively each, and having all of that time, so much of that being at their peak, so much of that growing their own personal fan base and brands, growing their team's personal fan base and brands, growing the whole league's overall fan base and structure. And to think we got like, what, 5-6 years of Bjergsen, 5-6 years of Doublelift. Those are two kind of generational talents that are one interesting and really good and talented, and you're not going to be seeing those every once in a while. So to only be able to get 5 or 6 years out of them because of the grind, because of how taxing it is, because doing this, putting in 14-hour days, you have to sleep 7 to 8 hours as well. You're looking at 20, 21, 22, 23 hours right there. You have maybe an hour of free time left in the day where you have to be eating meals or something, you know, doing the laundry. I don't even know what else you got going on, but there's not a lot of time left for having friends, having another hobby, having balance in your life, working out, exercising, having like a girlfriend, significant other, whatever. And it is so terrible. Now, obviously, like a lot of these people are saying, you know, this guy says longevity is the number one factor that attributes to an esports player's career. What's the point in slugging away to become the best when you only last a short amount of time at the top? Burnout is real no matter how much success you have, maybe even worse for those consistently winning. Improved practice schedule and good habits equals career longevity. There's another really good one down here that I liked. I think I scrolled past it. It's so sad to see that the general league success culture in Korea and China is based on long scrim and solo queue hours, a small amount of sleep and recovery, and bad nutritional habits. Of course, grinding will make you better faster, but is it sustainable? It is not. And that's such a crazy thing to me, because a guy like Showmaker, earlier in the season, we heard a guy like Tactical. They're already talking about burnout. These guys are high teens, low 20s years old, and if we get less years of Showmaker, if we get less years of some of these great, amazing players because of burnout, that's not worth a single world championship. That's not worth some of the things they're doing in the short term. These guys, if they just spread out their improvement rather than trying to front load all their improvement, I'm going to risk, or not even risk, you're literally throwing away the next 10 years of my career of slowly getting better to try to get those 10 years into 2 years. Doesn't make sense. Like, yes, you hit a crazier high. Yes, you absolutely hit a higher high. You know, they're practicing more. They're getting better at more stuff. They're grinding. And respect to them for even, you know, being able to do that. But they fly high and they crash fast. I mean, we've seen in League of Legends the longevity of players, not only the longevity of their careers, but their longevity at their time at the top. Other than Faker and SKT, who still, in the grand scheme of things, that's just a couple of years. It's not like they went on like a 10-year run or an 8-year run or something. They went on like a 3 or 4 year run, or like a 4 or 5 year run, kinda, where they won, you know, like 3 championships or something. There haven't been teams that are coming back being the same great teams year in and year out. I have seen a lot of great stuff recently from teams over in Europe. Like, well, they're playing soccer together. They're getting out. They're exercising. They're doing a lot of these things, building these healthy habits. I think that's so awesome and cool. I think those things are going to be great for them in the long term. I also really dislike this tweet from Nelson where he said there's an analogy. League is similar to exams where you have 3 textbooks to study. Europe studies 1 textbook. Korea and China studies 2 textbooks. And Grabs comes in and says, yeah, the Korean and Chinese students who study 2 textbooks, they are going to feel tired. And I completely agree with that. And I wish more people understood that there is a long term here. There is a long game here. And yes, you can get 100% better in a year or 2, but if you get 10% better every year for 10 years, one, you're still going to get as good as those other people. It's just going to take a little bit longer. But if you're still here, if you're still in the game, if you're still in the league in 10 years and you're hitting your peak, that could be just as good, or it could be even better than the guy who hit his peak the second year and then crashed in his 4th year and then doesn't even play anymore because he has to retire. And like, I really just hate, in general, in life and everything, I hate short-sighted people. I hate short-sighted ideas. I hate short-sighted things. And right now, I see so many short-sighted people, attitudes, game plans, whatever, just because China and Korea are so successful right now. You got to think that League of Legends esports is in its absolute infancy. Just because people are good right now, that doesn't mean they figured out the secret formula. That doesn't mean that they have something crazy. Like, you look at other sports that have been around for 100+ years, and think of the first 10 years of them. They seem like barbaric almost. They seem absolutely ridiculous. You know, if we want League of Legends and esports to be around in 100 years, things are going to change. Things are going to develop, and it's always weird to be the first person to try something different. But man, I really wish people would change things because it is so unhealthy. I feel terrible for these people that are going through these mental struggles. I mean, especially during the pandemic, throwing all this stuff on top. People this young should not be burning out like this. They should not be hating the game that they play like this. And it's really weird, and it's really sad to see. Something I'm super passionate about. People should be exercising more. People should be eating right. People should be practicing less. People should be taking more days off. They should be having meaningful relationships in their life. And I think that would be for the better better of everyone involved if this could be more of a worldwide thing. But yeah, just kind of wanted to rant a little bit, wanted to get this out because it's something that I do care a lot about, and I think is very, very interesting. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think these Chinese and Korean teams are doing things right and they're getting results, so something's working, or do you think it's probably not the best idea? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Subscribe to stay updated on my latest content. Consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/IamGerm. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.